welcome back. So today we're going to be talking about planners and the new planner I am using. Now, you might be remembering that I just recently showed you my digital planner that I was using, that I do still love. I really like. If I was going to do digital, that is absolutely the one I would use. I tried so many. I did decide to go back to physical though for a bit. So I'm going to share a little bit of reason why, and then I'll show you this planner. And I feel like I wouldn't go back to physical. Like I'd only do it for this planner. So basically this is the planner that made me go back to physical, where I've tried other planners and nothing was working, and that's why digital worked. But I feel like this planner is just very different in the way it's laid out. And so I was able to go back to physical. So the reason why is mostly just, you know, I'm on my iPad a lot, and I guess I kind of got tired of being on my iPad all the time. Sometimes you need to charge your iPad, and then I wasn't able to plan, or I wasn't able to get to like my notes and everything. And I've always been a paper girl. Like I've always loved stationery and pens and highlighters and sticky notes, like all the things. And so I really was missing that. And sometimes I just feel like it's so helpful to just get stuff out on paper. Like I'll just show you. I even started like it's almost like a bullet journal type thing, but just with like, I have goals, just random stuff, and it just helps me think, I feel like. I've been doing like a brain dump, this like goals for next year. I was able to kind of map out like some goals. Here are some summer plans, summer projects. I just feel like I was able to better do it. So really what I'm doing is I'm using this planner, which really is most of my stuff. And then I just kind of have an extra notebook just to do my brain dumps. And the way I do it is when I do it like a brain dump or something, after I finish it, so let me find like a brain dump, I have like this immediately, this month, next month, eventually, and then I actually take that stuff and I put it into my planner. So these two kind of go hand in hand. But I just kind of was missing being able to like easily map stuff out on paper. And then I felt like, when you have digital, there are a lot of buttons you have to click. Like if I wanted to go to my note section, I had to do something else. So let me just show you this because you'll see why this makes more sense for me. I'll show you a blank one first. But like I was saying, like when you're doing digital, there's a lot of different things. If I'm like, oh, I need to get to my notes for the month, I have to go click a different button. If I'm going to the week, I'm on a button. If I'm needing to go back to my monthly, I have to go click something else. So this planner is laid out like this, where it actually has your month right here, and then here's your weeks, and then here's your notes for the month. It's pretty big that you can't even see it all on camera, but it's pretty big. But I like it, and I just honestly stick it on my desk. They also have a mini version, which I'm going to show you. But these weekly pages are smaller, and so basically you can, no matter what, when you're like flipping through your weeks, you can still see your month and you can still see your notes. So let me show you like May. So I've been doing it where, I got all my big plans here, and even sometimes like social media stuff. And then here I section off my stuff, and I'll kind of go through it a little bit more in a minute. And then you got trackers, and then you have your notes back here. So I'm able to plan, like, here's all the reels I wanted to do. Here's YouTube's. This is to-dos this month. I have a little cleaning thing. And I have just like, again, just work stuff. I have some sticky notes. And then these are actually extra things you can purchase. So they are dry erase, wet erase. I prefer the wet erase, so I've been using these. And that way I can actually, like, it doesn't rub off unless I, use like a wet cloth. But I've been doing it for my studio. So typically I don't have these. So I have to do, in progress, and done. And the way it works is all of these will be over here. And those are just my ideas and ideas for the studio. And then a lot of times, like if I'm working on something, I'll actually go stick it on that day in the work section so that I know this is what I want to work on. But if it's still in progress, I put it in this in progress. And then when it's done, I put it here. So at the end of the month, for the studio in particular, I had it all here. And then I actually added this month in category. And that just means, for me, I've now put all of this stuff, it's been in the month, and now I have to categorize it. That probably doesn't make sense if you're not part of the studio, but that's just how my brain works. And then I have a work and I have personal. And so same thing, to do, in progress, done. And so I can just, go like this. And then once it's done, if like, I'm moving it to the next month, I can just throw these away. which is kind of nice. You could also use wet erase, obviously. But that's the basic layout of the planner. So let me show you actually how I categorized it. So again, for these, the Blake ones just look like this. So you just have some space up here, you have a bunch of lines, and then you have this little like category here. So the way that I have been doing it is I do home up here. So I put all my home tasks like, oh, I need to dust this thing, I need to vacuum this. I do this right here, which is my meal planning. Here is my events, so just stuff that's going on. And things that like have a time, like, okay, Gemma had a field trip, it was a half day, you know, this is what time I'm doing this. And then personal, so all my personal tasks go there, and then work tasks go here. This week I did do, or this, yeah, for this week I did content, and then I realized I could just put my content over here and I didn't need it. So I did a little bit different this month where I just gave myself more space here and I gave myself a little more room in the event section. So that's the way it looks. And then you also have like this to do this week. And so when I'm sectioning it off, I also do like all my personal to-dos are right here. All my work to-dos are right here. So that's been working really well too. And then I even have space up here to do stuff. And then the one thing that I've really liked doing is utilizing sticky notes, which the woman who created this, I'll put a link to, you know, this company, Laurel Denise, she does a lot of YouTube videos that are very helpful and she utilizes sticky notes a lot. So I've really liked that. So even like this sticky note, I, at the end of this week, I made this sticky note called Didn't Get Done. And I went through and found anything that has an arrow and then like that didn't get done and I write it on here. And then I just come and I put it here. And so now when I'm planning my week, I know these are some things I need to get done and either I'll like put them in here and then I can throw this away, or I'll even like put it in different places. Same thing with like, it's nice to use these just for stuff you don't know that you're going to get to. Like I feel like, okay, maybe I'll do that Tuesday. I want to hang a chalkboard in the house. But if I don't get to it, then I can just move it to Wednesday. And then I can just move it to, like just move it around until I actually get it done. So I've been using a lot of sticky notes, which has been very helpful. And it's just nice that like if you just need to write down a quick thing, you can write it down. I feel like I have sticky notes sometimes more than my planner, and then I can like put it in here and then I can file it away if I need to. So that's like the basic setup of this planner. As for like front stuff, you've got your little calendar, you've got a space for goals, and you got things to remember. And so I just write people's birthdays and stuff. And in the back, you do have planning ahead. So here's 2026 calendar. And then you've got, I think this said like wins, and I'm just using it as like a dashboard for like sticky notes. So again, things that I need to do, but they're not super important. But then if I'm ready to do this, if I'm like, okay, I really want to do this in this month, I can just come and stick it here. And then when I'm ready, you know, like go put it where the day I want to do it. And you've got, again, some more grid, and then I think you have several more grid pages and then some dot pages. This is an extra like insert. So for this, I used this for my home, like cleaning tasks. So I did all my months up here, and then I just broke it up by like kitchen, bathroom, living room, bedrooms, other, when I wash people's sheets and stuff, sometimes you are like, wow, when did I do that? So this just kind of helps me know when like, okay, when did I deep clean the stove last? When did I, you know, do all this stuff, which is a little different than like, you know, I still have my weekly things. I have, you know, like I vacuum every Thursday, I dust on Tuesday. So I still have all this, but this is just more like the deep cleaning stuff so that I keep track of it. I also do finances. Okay, so I just used one of these pages, and so I put all the months up here, I put the amount, I put the date, and then I just highlight it when it's been paid. And then right next to it, I do one of these, which this is actually an extra insert. It's a calendar. So they come in a pack. And so I put the month here, and so this is, I'm getting prepped for June. There's my May. And what's nice is, first of all, you can put like notes over here. So if there's anything you want to like record, remember for the month, and then I just date it and I put my bills, and then as it's been paid, or even if it's automatic, I just come in here and highlight it just so I know like it's paid. And at the end of the month, it's very easy to see like, okay, everything's like paid, everything's accounted for. Over here, you could even do like budget and stuff, but I really like it. And so what I do is I put the previous month is here and I put a new month here. And these just go like this. And so it's, you know, like they're inserts. So they have little slits. And so you can just stick it in. but then I can be able to see my month in that very easily. So I just have some other stuff back here. This is pages that already came with it. So these are studio ideas. I just have my little checklist so I can just check them off. And this is content ideas. For this, I did like these little boxes. So this is like if it's a post, if it's a reel, if it's a carousel, a YouTube short, or a YouTube video, and I just highlight it. And that way it's more like if I'm planning, I can look at this and I can see that like, oh, I wanted to do these memory cards and I was going to do a reel and a short for those. And I can kind of see, and sometimes there are multiple things. And so then I know when I'm going to record it, what kind of format I need to do. So that's how I use those back pages. I'll show you the sticky notes, and then I do want to show you the mini and how I'm using the mini one they have. So her sticky notes come like this, and just lots of cute sticky notes. I like using these ones for bigger stuff, but these ones are called itty bitty and they are really tiny. Like I think I saw videos of them, and then when I got them, I was like, wow, they're so tiny, but they're so cute. And you just put, you know, little things on it. But what's perfect is this is what it fits really perfectly in these little squares. So you can just set them in there. So those are the sticky notes I use. And then she has several different kinds. So these are just, I'm just showing you the two that I have. I know she has like a pop-up one. She has a one called a portrait, which is more like portrait wise. But I got this one, which is a vertical, meaning this is called the vertical, and the big one. And then this is the small one. This is the mini. So to compare them, here's the big one and here's the mini. So substantially smaller. A lot like this would probably fit better in my purse, but I personally don't need, I wanted something that I can put like everything in. And so I didn't really care about it fitting my purse. But this is a horizontal. So horizontal layout looks like this. So you still have the calendar here, and then you have your weeks here, and you have a to-do list. So same concept, then you have your habit tracker and you have your notes. So I did try it in right here for May. And so, and this might work for some people. The reason I didn't like it is I felt like I was going back and forth. So what I decided to do is I did meals over here. This was personal to do, this was work to do, and then this I just covered and said social media. And it worked fine, but there were times where if I had it like this, now I can't see my personal to-do list for the week. So I was constantly going like this, where this one, you know, if it's on a Thursday, I can just do this and I can see Thursday, right? I'm not having to flip over. This is everything I need for Thursday. This is everything I need for the rest of the week. And so I didn't really love that about horizontal, but I found a use for it and I really, really like it. So I decided to use it as a meal planner. So let me show you. Now the dates are off because I had already planned in May and then I needed May for meal planning. So the dates are kind of off. Ignore that. I'll be back on track next month. But what I tried a few different things. Okay, so first I decided to do like dinner and lunch over here. And I thought right here would be good for my grocery list. So I kind of did some, like use these little stickers and kind of made a grocery list, which that was okay. I mean, I was kind of running out of, like, I didn't have all my categories. And then I thought I would do grocery list here. But then when I wrote it out, I realized that doesn't make sense because this is your note space for the entire month. So what I decided to do is what I did, let's see, this week. So honestly, I'm not actually using this. I don't even use this, like this side. I'm really just using this side. So I use this side and I put my lunch and dinner. Okay. And anything I need to prep for, like, so here we were having ham and we had already made the ham, but I needed a side. So I just kind of wrote need side and then I wrote down the side and highlighted it. That way I knew that I needed to prep the side. And then we're going to have it again there. So I just write down the dinner, but then what I'm using is I'm using one of these. So again, this is one of the inserts and this goes in the mini, and I put our groceries. So, fruits and veggies, meats, I just kind of sectioned it off. Like I just drew this line and sectioned it off, but this can go with me to the grocery store because it's like, I mean, it is good laminated. It's really thick. And so I'm able to take this to the grocery store with me. And honestly, I can just take this with my pen and stick this in my purse, and I'm able to, I can even cross stuff off as I'm shopping. But I'm able to just bring this in my purse, and I don't have to bring this whole thing. So That's one of my favorite ways to use this. If you are going to use a meal planner, I really suggest getting one of these little insert things because it is so helpful. And even honestly, like the nice thing is like you can use sticky notes. So if you maybe didn't have this and you were just writing down some things, you can honestly just stick it here. And again, you can just grab this whole thing and it can go to the store with you. And it's just so easy. So that's how I'm using that. And then the way I'm using the note pages as I'm doing current inventory. So I just come in here and I write down like, what do we have? And not everything, obviously, but I feel like there's some things that I'm like, oh yeah, we have carrots, or we have like this fruit that's gonna go bad, or we have lots of pasta, or we have, so that when I'm planning my meals, I can kind of look and I can look at everything and kind of see like, okay, this is what we have. So that I use this for current inventory. This I was just using for more ideas. Like I love making pop-up pancakes, or I think people call them Dutch babies or something, but pop-up pancakes is what I call them. And somebody had posted a different recipe than the one I use, and so I thought, oh, I should try it. So I just wrote try new recipe, and I just wrote down the recipe right here. So that way when I'm ready to plan it, like I just kind of have it all in here. And then the nice thing about this is also I'm able to kind of write down, I don't write down really the meals that much here. I'm more writing down like big things. Like my father-in-law was over these weeks to help with our kitchen. And so I know that I need lunch every single day for him, where normally it's just I need lunch for me and Selah. And that's pretty easy, but I knew I needed lunch. And so that can kind of help me plan what I'm going to make. So that's how I'm using this. I haven't really used any of the back note pages. I feel like it would be good for maybe some like favorite recipes or something like that would be a good use for that. But yeah, I really enjoyed using this as like a meal planner. So that's how I'm using that. And I think that's it, really. Honestly, that's what I wanted to show you. Just wanted to show you my planner and how I'm using it. So it does have a pocket in the front, which is really nice. I'm going to do something here. I want to decorate it. That's why I kind of stuck this here. I want to add some pictures and stuff. The paper is really thick too. So this paper is super thick. This one's not as thick as this, but you can also see that like you really can't see my highlights through it or anything. So it's not super thin, Last thing I want to show you is just what I'm using for everything. So my new favorite pen is this pen. This is an erasable pen, and I really like it. So this is what it is. I'll put a link. I just got it off Amazon. But I've been using it because if I do make a mistake, I can erase it and I don't have to have a bunch of like little like squiggles and everything. And one thing I will say about this, these are small. Like these are not super big. So you'll notice I do abbreviate a lot of stuff, which doesn't really bother me because it's one of those things where like, okay, if you had a different planner, obviously you probably have more space, but you wouldn't have this concept. And so for me, it's not like a huge deal. I just abbreviate what I need to abbreviate, or I like write it on the next line. So grocery store, um, stuff like that. But that's just what I want to mention. Okay, so these are the pens I am using. And then I shared the wet erase that I use. And then for my highlighters, I do color code. So I am using a combination, but I think they all are Mr. Pen. Just kidding, these are not. Maybe they are. This might be Mr. Pen, but I just use these highlighters. I'll link them down below. For each of my kids, I put a little sticker on it. But like my husband has one. This one's just personal. And then I have like a work one, finances, family one. And yeah, so everybody kind of has their own highlighter, and I just keep them in this container and just use them from there. Another simple thing I wanted to tell you, I feel like I've always used sticky notes, but maybe not as much. I don't know, but I really love this concept of using sticky notes in my planner and then like being able to just, if I don't need them, throw them away. But like I said, we're in the month of May, right? So like I'm in May, but a lot of times there certain things come up and then I go, you know what? It's not going to happen this month. I want to do it next month. So I've just been putting that stuff on sticky notes. And then when I come into June, I have stuff already like here. Like when I was working on these planner stickers, there were several things that didn't get done and the studio was coming to a close for the June release. And so I just put it here because I know, okay, next month when I come in here, now I already have that. Here's some other studio items that I did not get done last month, and so I'm just putting them here. And then once I transfer over this, then I'll just put these on there. And then this again is a concept that the woman who made the planner does, and I really, really love it. So it's just taking like a big sticky note and writing all the days. So there's 30 days in June, writing them all, and then writing what's going on. And that way I don't have to write on here yet because maybe I'm not sure other stuff that's going on, or maybe I just like, I don't know. For me, I feel like sometimes I don't want to write in June yet. Like I want to like sit down and really plan it. So this has been really helpful. So I just write down like different events that are going on. I highlight the weekends. But then that way I have it. And then now when I'm ready to do June, I can actually take this stuff, I can put it in here. I like to plan like my content too. And so certain things I like at the top, certain things I like at the bottom. And so that also helps me to really be able to see like everything that's going on, and then I can write it in. And so I've done that just for the next 2 months. So I've got these little sticky notes in there. And then once I transfer it, I just throw this away. But that has been really, really helpful. Hope this was helpful. Let me know if you have any questions.